Well, that result brought us back down to earth yesterday, didn't it, Tottenham Hotspur fans? It was going oh so well, two back-to-back wins in the Premier League, an impressive display against PSG as well. On top of that, two clean sheets in the Premier League, 5 goals scored, victories over Burnley, Manchester City, and also fantastic news this week that we've also signed Xavi Simons, but we've been brought back down to earth with a massive fudge. But no time to panic, no time to worry. Today on the Sonny Spurs YouTube channel, we'll be talking about the game, reacting to the result, what it means in the grand scheme of things for Spurs, and how, and the title of this video will probably be something along the lines of this, why Xavi Simons is more important than ever for this Tottenham Hotspur side. And, I was at the game yesterday, saw it firsthand with my eyes, saw him unveiled, etc. And I know he's going to be a massive piece of this Thomas Frank jigsaw puzzle. But before we go any further, if you are new to the Sonny Spurs YouTube channel and you just discovered me right here, right now, sound like that was Slim there, then get down below, leave your likes, subscribe, hit the notification bell, and also let me know in the comments down below, what did you make of the game, and are you as buzzing as I am to see Xavi Simons in a Spurs shirt actually playing on the pitch instead of just being unveiled and waving around and all that sort of stuff. But yeah, let's get on with the video then. And as I say, yesterday I was at the game, got me programmed, had a great time, went with me old man. I'll probably put some pictures on screen right now of, the day we had. Really good to spend that with him. Saw the Bill Nick Gates, not seen him yet. It was my first home game of the season. Bumped into Ben from We Are Tottenham TV, actually for the first time ever at a Spurs game. Lots of people came up to me and recognised me, and it felt very surreal. So if you were one of those people who took your time out of your day to come and say hello, say how much you love the channel, really, really appreciate it. And actually, speaking of that, we're about 200 subs or so away from the mighty 10K. So as I say, get down below and subscribe to the channel. But let's talk about the game. And quite disappointing and underwhelming. I'll be honest, the game was pretty much killed off with that early Bournemouth goal. The atmosphere was flat. I was part of that, and it really did kill us off in more ways than one. And if you just look at the stats from yesterday, it was a surprising result, because I feel like when you see the stats that were the fact that Bournemouth had 20 shots, 6 on target, to Spurs' 5 shots and 1 on target, it was a chasm, and we didn't have a shot at all on target in that first half, which was very underwhelming. We had a lot more of the ball, 62% possession to their 38% possession, but Iriola outclassed us. Sort of the way I saw it, and what I was saying to my dad yesterday as well in the stadium, was that they basically saw what we did against City and did that against us, pressing us into the ground, just absolutely controlling the game in that sense of it, man marking, and really just, making Spurs suffer is what I'd say. And the way that I don't think it helped us was Spurs looked flat. Spurs were out of ideas. Thomas Frank obviously going with exactly the same side as he fielded against Manchester City the week before, which made a lot of sense. You've got to think about Manchester City's midfield and the powerful potence that they have up top. But what Spurs did again was they went with the same lineup. Bearing in mind that we were always going to have a little bit more of the ball against Bournemouth. And Bournemouth didn't just sit in. They went at us. They really, came at us really well, as was seen by the result, shot statistics. But what didn't help was, I think, our midfield looked very flat in this game. Sarr, who's looked great in the first 2 games, looked a bit like a rabbit in the headlights. Palhinha and Bentancur, I didn't think this was the perfect matchup for this sort of game. Bentancur looked quite poor. Palhinha being asked to do a lot towards the back of the field. So, if it wasn't for Mickey van der Ven being brilliant at the back in the sense of lunges, defensive tackles, etc., it would have been, it could have been 2, 3, or 4. And Pedro Porro, again, quite suspect defensively. And there was not a lot of ideas up top. Richarlison couldn't let the ball stick at his feet. Johnson, very poor on the left-hand side. And a lot of our attack was coming either from Mohamed Kudus, who was being asked to do a lot, or Wilson Odobert when he came on eventually. And the way I see it is, you watch a player like Antoine Semenyo for Bournemouth and think, wow, if he was playing on our left-hand side, it would have been absolutely electric. But I don't want to be all doom and gloom because there's been a lot of positives. At the end of the day, we probably needed this result to level us out a bit at the end of the day. We don't want to get too far ahead of ourselves. Thomas Frank's still got a lot of work to do. There's a lot of, still, it was quite Ange-bally, that performance yesterday, is how I would probably sum it up if I had to really, liken it to something that I've seen before. And there were some wild statistics going around that apparently in the last 9 times we've beaten City, we've lost the game after that. And our record before an international break is somewhat concerning, considering we've got 2 more international breaks at the back end of 2025. It's not good reading. But what was this game calling out for? And as I say, I put some pictures on screen earlier on. Xavi Simons, who was signed on Friday evening. Annoying that if this transfer was done earlier, if we had that 10 in earlier, it could have been a different story this game. Because what worries me about Spurs at the moment, and it also worries me if Xavi Simons was to get injured, and the fact we haven't had James Maddison or Dejan Kulusevski, is we are lacking that creative spark in midfield. Because at the moment, and from this game, it was very, very telling. Because when you look at the Manchester City result, let's focus on that as one. That game was perfect. The setup was perfect for that. The flat midfield saw as maybe like a 10-8 who was bombarding up and down, and Bentancur and Palhinha, scrapping and picking up the pieces. And, both goals came from nice little counter-attacking play, jumping on chances that City were at fault for themselves. Whereas this game was literally, there was no link up between the defence, the midfield, and the attack. It was all didn't know whether to go long. The passing was absolutely diabolical, whether it was long, short, in triangles, working on the wing, through the middle. It just wasn't clicking at all. And the reason it would click is if you have someone in that 10 making it happen. And that is Xavi Simons. And there's pressure on him now because he's got to come in and actually deliver the stats and the goals and the dribbles and all the numbers that we know he can. Because I've seen graphs, I've seen pictures of his stats compared to Eze, and they do look impressive. But if you had a 10 in that midfield who was taking the ball from deep, driving with it, because we had that in instances with Odebear and Kudus on the wings, but it was a little bit too late. From the 80th minute, they were taking the ball and driving. But there was no one there. There was no one on the edge of the area who you fancied to pick the ball up and shoot. Xavi Simons would do that. No one picking the ball up from, the halfway line and driving with it. And, an option to pass. There was no options yesterday. There was no one, offering. No one wanting to have the ball to feet. And that was really concerning. And you see how a Thomas Frank midfield has worked in, his Brentford side, when he had Damsgaard, Norgard, or Janelt in there, holding whoever. Damsgaard would do all the dogged work, the creativity, but also trap back, and Norgard would be the one, sweeping. And that's your Palhinha, and that's your Xavi Simons now. So, as I say, there's a lot of pressure on Xavi Simons to now come into this side, at a canter and put on a great display. But, it's annoying because then I do sit there and think, what could have happened if this was done a little bit earlier? If we'd done this signing 2 weeks ago, he's in for this game. We're looking at maximum 9 points, and it's all hunky-dory. But a lot of good things for Thomas Frank to learn. I saw his post-match and he's saying, all these different things. And, he's talking about the booing and, Spurs fans are going to boo. It's just, you pay a lot of money. We all sit there. But there's still a lot that needs to be done. Maybe also ahead of deadline day. I think we need another left winger. Ademola Lookman would be a perfect player for me. Maybe another centre-back as a backup. But, we'll see. So there's still... Because the bench is somewhat uninspiring. I think Odebear's got potential. Tell came on and looked okay, but I think there's a lot of pressure on him and he does look a bit, naive. And also, what worries me now is Richarlison, when he's when the pressure gets to him sometimes, he does sort of look like a rabbit in the headlights up top. And with Solanke seeing a bit of an injury, could we do with another backup striker? But who's on the market for that? I do not know. But yeah, those were my main takeaways from the game, especially that Xavi Simons role that is going to be so vital. You know, I think my perfect Tottenham lineup would be, if everyone's fit and perfect, I'd still go with Vicario in net. I'd probably go with, I mean, I'll be honest, this is quite controversial, Jed Spence at right back and maybe Udogie when he came off on at left back looked great. Pedro Porro to me just worries me in certain defensive. You know, he's come up against a lot of good left wingers this season. That worries me. I'd go Van der Ven and Romero as the centre backs. Midfield, I'd probably go with Sarr and Bentancur at the moment. But Bentancur again looked poor. Maybe Polina, one or two. And then my middle three at the moment would be Xavi Simons in the 10. I'd then probably go left wing, still Brennan Johnson at this moment, because he can score. Right, I'd go Kudos. And then I'd go Solanke when he's fit. Feel like he offers a bit more. Richarlison, yeah, I mean, great option off the bench, but at the moment he still looks a bit, he's gingerly when it comes to his fitness. So yeah, but there's been a lot of mixed reaction that I've seen from Tottenham fans, and I just want to say that again, I'm not worried, I'm not panicking. There's, you know, Thomas Frank, it's early doors. There's been good signs already. He'll take a lot of learnings from this. He's got now an international break to go. Check the footage over and see. Because I'm not worried. I'm not panicking. Like a lot of Spurs fans were losing their marbles yesterday. Where we're in the ground on social media, whatever, on YouTube, etc. But I think, you know, we've got to stay calm. We've got to, you know, go into the rest of the season focused and, you know, try and get maximum points from most games. You know, even if we'd got a draw yesterday, that would have been a good result, because Bournemouth, they're a good team. They've got a great manager. You know, that to me, we just got to, you know, we've got to go into the West Ham game and the Wolves game and get 2 solid wins from that. But as I say, there's been a lot of mixed reaction on the internet and on especially TalkSport from certain Spurs fans.
Let's go to Jack. He's a Spurs fan. Jack.
All right, Jackie boy.
Hello, boys. How are we?
Oh, Jack. What's going on, mate? What was
We're
that?
back, baby.
Spurs are back. Back.
We
Spurs
were
are back.
atrocious, man. We were atrocious. Concerned. I was first game back for me today. Was expecting 3 points, a lot of goals. I think we could have been there since next week.
We didn't have a shot until the 60th minute.
I'm not panicking, but even under Ange, it was a different kind of badness today. We were a bit solid, 1-0, but we couldn't get near the goal. I'm not really sure what was going on, but we were awful. We stunk.
No, they had a number, Bournemouth, today. They outclassed us, outrun us. They were all over us. I mean, Semenyo run the gaff, but we were nowhere near good enough. Nowhere near good enough. I couldn't believe how bad we were.
Neither.
To not have a shot in 60 minutes and you're playing at home is outrageous.
I know we've signed, but you look to the bench and you think, who's going to come on and
There ain't anyone.
get a ball near the box? And there was no one. Look, he's got to be the answer, because if he's not the answer,
I think we need one more.
We're going to be in trouble again.
I think we need one more, Jack. I don't think
What do you need? What do you need?
I think we need a centre forward. I'm not convinced. Look, Richarlison today showed me.
You got Simons, right? You got Simons.
Yeah, Simons. Yeah, but he can play number 10. He can play off the left. But
a bit of creativity there.
yeah, we lacked an incredible amount of creativity. We lacked a bit of ruthlessness today. Richarlison put in a performance which I saw pretty much every time last season.
He's back to the pigeon.
When you lump the ball up all game long, he didn't win a header. Would you expect him to do? But with Solanke then injured, I don't know if you need 3 forwards, but it's going to sound stupid. When Ericsson used to come on randomly and just pick the ball up in pockets and move the ball, I felt like no one wanted the ball. There wasn't one player who actually got on the ball and wanted to spray it, move
but what about the build-up play? What about the slow, laborious?
Oh.
Bournemouth were excellent. I think that we need to really caveat this. We need to mention Bournemouth, saying how good they were, right? But
they were very good.
The build-up. Yeah, the build-up though. Bournemouth getting to the shape. It looked like you ran out of ideas, like really early on in the game.
We didn't have any ideas. We didn't run out of them. They weren't there to start.
You had no ideas to start off with.
I don't think so. I mean, if you watched the game, you'd have seen there were no ideas.
I couldn't believe how bad we were. But the problem is the midfield, right? It's got energy. We know that. It's got legs. But it lacks creativity. Really lacks creativity. We lacked someone getting on the ball, doing some. I watched Jack Grealish today for Everton. He was absolutely brilliant. And I'm sitting there, I'm going, have we not tried to sign him?
Why weren't Spurs in for
why are we not in for Jack Grealish? Because It's perfect for what we need.
Son has gone on that left-hand side. He does. He ticks a lot of boxes.
Everton were like bopping it around, moving the ball, Grealish, playing little 1-2s. I'm thinking, how have we not got that player? And Everton, I think, I mean, we'll talk about him later, but I thought he was fantastic. And I just think we lack that so bad. We haven't got that. I'm hoping Simons might be that player. Let's hope. Because today was alarmingly bad. Really bad, Jack. I don't know.
He needs to be.
Yeah, and I hope we don't become a bit of a, set piece.
Jack, the Spurs are back though, Jack. Come on, mate. You had your 2 games. Everyone thinks the Spurs are back, challenging for a title. Come on.
Last night I was envisaging phoning you 9 points and saying what I said. I think when Conte was there, or maybe Postecoglou, that we're going to win the league.
Yeah. And Cundy's got his clown outfit on.
Yeah, well,
and I've got Ange in my picture frame. Brilliant. Let's hear from Thomas Frank now. He's given his reaction to Alex Crook after the game.
Of course, I hope for a better result, but even more important, a better performance. I think today was a bad performance. I think we played against a good Bournemouth team. I think they played well. They played exactly into their strength, exactly how we expected. We just didn't handle it well enough. Fair play to Bournemouth. They deserve to win. I hope that we would have done better, especially, phase 1 or 2 or with the ball. We struggled to get out of their pressure. We didn't do that well enough. That's a learning I take away, that we need to improve. Put a little bit of pressure on the last 15. Could have got away with a draw, but I think it's fair we lost.
Do you envisage any more arrivals between now and 7 o'clock on Monday?
We are still in the market. We always look see if we can improve the squad. So let's see.
Are you confident you might get something?
Obviously, let's see. We're working on it, but it's not like we're desperate anyway. Only players that can improve the team.
Yeah, Thomas Frank speaking after the game. Let's go to Gareth. He's a Spurs fan. Gareth.
Right, G-Dog. G-Dog?
Gareth?
G-Dog.
Hang on to Gareth.
G-Dog.
Gareth?
Come on, mate.
All right, let's go to Mark. He's a Tottenham fan. Mark.
Hello.
Marky Mark.
Mark, how are you?
How you doing, son? You all right? How you doing, boys? You all right?
Oh,
Yeah,
Mark.
I was up here today, mate. It's shocking.
Terrible.
Shocking. Just, I just don't. Like Pedro Porro, he got rinsed by that Semenyo so many times. He was turning him inside out, mate. He couldn't cope with him.
I know.
Couldn't cope with him, mate.
It's the first time I've seen Porro really
I'd
out
love
of
to
his
have him
depth.
there, mate. I'd love to go and buy him, mate. Get him there. We need a striker. Richarlison was back to his same old story, wasn't it, today?
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
He's had a couple of good goals, but I don't know, mate. I don't know.
But you not get sucked into the same old trap. I mean, I've got Jay next week. We're back. I mean, this is the thing about Spurs, right? Jay was comparing the midfield the other day, right? Jay comparing the midfield to Liverpool's team under Klopp.
In terms of energy.
No, Jay,
that's all I said.
Why don't we go and get Grealish, though? Why don't we go and get Grealish?
I don't know, mate.
We needed
I
a
don't
number
know.
10. Go and get him.
I don't know
You know
why
what I
we've
mean?
not been in for
was
Grealish. I don't know. I'm seeing him. You look.
Gibson White should have sorted that out, mate. That should have been sorted out in the bag. Get him in. You know what I mean? It's just we should have had them deals done, Jamie. Really should have done. But
I know.
listen, all right, we've lost the game. We move on. We've got a good draw in the Champions League. We do all right in that.
Yeah, but do you know what though, right? You say that, Mark. Yeah, we move on, but last season, I think, what did we lose? 20 games or something? It was outrageous how many games.
You're the worst side in the Premier League not to get relegated.
We can't lose games like that easily. You know, we've got. I would have took a point after. I would have took a point in the end of how bad we were. But it's another loss. Do you know what I mean? It's a loss, and it's here we go again.
Tell him to take that clan outfit off, will you, Cundy? Get that clan outfit off.
Oh, you're Spurs. What do you expect? Honestly, you lot.
Yeah.
Have you seen the top of the table? seen who's up there?
I love you, Cundy. I do like you, mate. I do like you. I must admit, I like
you. You don't have to, honestly. I've got to sit next to him.
I know, but we've got to listen. We have got forget about that one. Move on to the next game. Hopefully, Simons comes in.
I don't want to hear that this season. I don't want to hear that this season.
Look, we need a playmaker. Simmons hopefully will do a little bit for us. We need to play better, though, Jamie. That was poor today.
Terrible.
That was poor.
Terrible.
I mean,
terrible. But listen,
terrible.
Yeah,
yeah, Mark. Listen, thanks for your call.
Hold on. What about you, lot? Right?
Hold on.
Hold on a second. Right? I thought you were back. Where?
Shut up.
No, I thought you were back.
We are back. Back to being Spurs.
Well, back to the Spurs. It's true.
But let me know what you think in the comments down below. Are you thinking that we're pinning all our hopes on Xavi Simons? Is he the final piece of this jigsaw puzzle? What did you make of the game? And also, who do you want us to sign ahead of deadline day, which is Monday at 7 o'clock is when the window slams shut. But what I'm thinking of doing is I'm going to probably do a live stream on Monday from around 6-ish to about 8, when the window has settled, reacting to what Spurs have done and see if Spurs actually do anything on deadline day. But until then, hope you have a good rest of your weekend. See you guys very soon. As I like, subscribe, hit the notification bell. Until next time, the Spurs. Ciao.